All right. Thanks to everybody joining us today. We're going to go in and kick things off now. Greetings and welcome to your first live Zoom session of the Diversity and Inclusion Professional Certificate Program. Thank you all for participating in this certificate program through the University of Georgia. My name is Carmen Taylor, and I am a program manager supporting this initiative. I work in executive education for the University of Georgia Terry College of Business at the Buckhead campus in Atlanta, Georgia. The purpose of today's session is to provide a brief overview of the program, to discuss best practices for using the virtual platform, otherwise known as the ELC or e-learning commons. And by now, you should have all received the calendar invites for each of the upcoming live sessions, as well as an ID or an invitation to join the ELC and create a new password for that platform. If you have not, please message me offline at carmen.taylor@uga.edu, and I'll get you squared away. Right now, for a few opening reminders. Please keep your cameras on if possible. We understand if you cannot and you're juggling like most of us are, and you have to keep your camera off. But if you can, please keep your camera on. This is a 4-week program with one live online session per week. The first 2 weeks are designed to be less formal, so please get to know one another and jump into the discussions, ask questions, and connect on LinkedIn. The last 2 weeks will prepare you for the exam. So with that out of the way, I'd like to introduce you to the lead instructor for this course, James Felton Keith.
Hey everybody, so excited to see your faces. Well, kind of. All I have are these sunglasses, and I'm trying to avoid looking like a madman. But anyway, so I can kind of see you, but everyone's far away. I'm here in a weird boardroom in Baltimore today, but I'm normally in New York. Look, I'd just like to say again that profile is there. It's long. I've got a lot of first names. Just James is fine. But I think these next 4 weeks are going to be fun. Normally, we have a bunch of fun in this course, sort of reconstructing and re-exploring how one delivers a DEI to an organization, across an organization, using the international standard. And that is our core objective in this course, is for you all to leave here with the tools to either audit your org if you're currently at a company, or if you're a consultant, to be able to audit an org and their maturity in delivering inclusivity using the ISO standard. So this is going to feel more like Lean Six Sigma for DEI, because it is. And yeah, we're going to give you all a bunch of tools that are in the ELC. I would go in right after this and download the manual, which is like a truncated version of the broader ISO D&I service management book, and the spreadsheet, and the case study materials. One caveat, and I don't know if I'm jumping ahead of your slides, Carmen, is when you see case study, or you see in the recorded lectures from myself or FNS or Don, when we talk about the case study, we're going to go through the case study in real time in the live sessions. So the live sessions sort of serve as office hours and exploring the case study. So we'll have knowledge checks and questions, quizzes that are not graded in the live sessions that we do every week, every Wednesday. And through that, we will walk through essentially an audit of a real company, a 50,000 person firm that some of these redacted documents are from. So that's the structure of what we'll be doing here. Again, when you see case study, there's no other homework or stuff that you owe us. And again, the only graded portion of the course is the final exam, which all I ask is for you to have some fun and trust the process. We've done this a bajillion times with the number just keeps changing every month, but a little over 630 people. And the process is very intentional. So there will be, I think, portions during week 1 next week where you'll go, what's going on? And by week 2, you go, right, I get it. I get where we're going. And by week 3, we'll really kind of dig in there, and you'll be considering how, again, you travel the delivery of DEI initiatives, services through an organization of any type or any size. I'll stop there though. Carmen. And Dr. BA and FNS are here. So just a bit on them. Don Bennett Alexander, real rock star, really how we got here. Probably the initial pioneer of DEI. She wrote the first employment law book, which is in its 11th edition right now. She was a lawyer, taught here at UGA, and really, I think, leveraged Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to create this current environment of risk management that we're in, this litigious environment in the United States, where folks are raising grievances based on grounds of either retaliation or discrimination, right? One reason this is at a risk management school, and an insurance school, and what we'll talk about is insurance and risk management a lot in this course, is grievances are unmanageable for the people who pay them, and those are insurance companies. When someone has a grievance in the real world and they settle in or out of court, insurance pays that cost, and we are at the tipping point of cost being too much to manage with regards to companies having a lack of structure around inclusivity. So she's going to be here in, I think, week 3. In week 2, we'll talk to FNS Henderson, who was, again, he's been doing this for about as long as Dr. BA, but was the lead convener of the ISO standard from its inception to its publishing, which took about 10 years, from around 2011 to 2021. And now we're scaling. So we'll be here with those 2 pioneers in week 2 and week 3. Or maybe week 1 and 2. Anyway, they're in the lectures. Yeah, week 2 and week 3. So yeah, again, and as you heard in some of the info sessions, et cetera, right? The real benefits here are you'll be equipped to audit. And I mean, that's our #1 objective, is for you to leave here and understand, if you look at an organization, how you should dissect it from a DEI standpoint, operationally, not ideologically. Again, you'll be able to apply the tools that we give you. You'll be welcomed in to a large network of other certified folks across the globe. We're doing this on 5 continents right now. There's an Indian course going on right now, and a Latin American course going on, and a French course in French and Spanish. The Indian course is in English, but I don't understand what's going on in the other courses, but they are all spawns of this course here. So you'd be welcomed into that group, and it's a very active group that we're actually, if any of you all are locally or can travel, we will be hosting the first in-person ISO-30415 Diversity Inclusion Service Management Forum in Buckhead at the Executive Center for UGA from October 28th through the 30th. You're all invited. We'll send you some stuff in email for how you get registered, but we want you all there to meet the broader community. There'll be some alums who are at big companies and small companies. The City of Atlanta's Chief Equity Officer is going to stop by and tell us some cool things. But what we're really doing here is expanding on the trade association that validates, or the professional society that validates, the stamp and the certificate that you all will receive here from UGA, which is probably in the next slide, but it's that 4th bar that you see as well. So that's really what we're building here. We have a vast community of people peer reviewing and vetting, again, the delivery of inclusivity as service management. And I think that is creating and providing for a more buoyant and rigorous conversation about what inclusivity actually looks like in corporate world going forward. But ultimately, we're just having a bunch of fun. It's a big love fest as we explore how we do this. So, yeah, and here are some reviews. We're killing it. Everyone loves us. They talk about it online. If you look at the ISO standard as a hashtag, you'll see so many more reviews. You won't be able to count them, attached to people's faces. But yeah, everything started here in 2021, right after the standard was published at UGA. And I will say insurance and risk management have been and will continue to be the biggest driver for deliberate equity and inclusion going forward in corporate world, just because of what the population is doing. And we'll continue to critique it and lead, again, here from the Terry College. So yeah, what else is on there? I can't remember. Okay, right. So
Well,
program structure. Okay, you go ahead.
oh no, by all means, I'll jump in as soon as you're done. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say, I was gonna go through the syllabus too. I think you all should have this document. If not, let us know. But these are the 4 sessions. Again, the first 3 weeks, we're gonna do a deep dive in auditing and what maturity models are. Again, if you're not familiar with some of these concepts, we're gonna gear you right up into them. I think in week 4, we've got a dynamic panel of folks in supplier diversity. Again, this will, as we segment what DEI is, differentiating supply chain from HR, from product delivery, from governance, we'll explore all of those separately and really show how DEI differentiates from, I think, its normal home, which is usually rested in human resources. But yeah, we'll segment those out across these 4 weeks as the syllabus details.
And this document, I know it may be a little difficult to view on this slide, but it is available in the ELC, which we're going to cover in the next couple of slides, just in case you haven't had a chance to reset your password and get in there. But once you get into the ELC, this document, along with the manual and the other supporting resources that James has already discussed with you, they're all located online on that platform. And just to give you a little bit of a navigation to this document, that first paragraph that gives you details on the course description, the body on the right of that document, that breaks down all 4 weeks of the program in terms of the topics that you're going to be discussing. And just as some additional information, this is independent online work. It should take you maybe 2 to 4 hours per week, using the inclusion score applied to the access, I'm sorry, to use an inclusion score applied to access a real company example as a learning case. And as you have questions, as they come up, we will be available to you, and I'll be able to communicate any questions you have to James. And James is always making himself available for these types of questions, especially during class for our discussion. So I highly encourage you, when we have our weekly sessions, don't hold back when you've got feedback. That's going to be your opportunity to interact with James and discuss anything that doesn't make sense to you, and really understand how to apply um, all of these tools to your own organizations. Um, and of course, participation is expected in the weekly 90-minute live Zoom sessions. Um, I understand some things come up, and if they do, it's not a big problem. Each session will be recorded and posted on the ELC, so you won't be missing anything. But I will highlight week 4 of the program. We'll have a live panel, and that panel discussion lasts anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes in the first 30, 45 minutes of that session, and it will not be recorded. So if you have to miss week 4, just know when you receive that recording, it will not include the panel discussion only because the information discussed is confidential. So we won't be able to record that, but everything else will be recorded. And I'll move us along so that you can see the outline of the dates. Here are all the dates. Of course, today's orientation being 30 minutes, but every other date listed here will be a 90-minute session on Wednesdays starting at noon Eastern.
Mhm.
And those are the topics there. And I'll move us on forward and we can talk about learning objectives and quizzes. Um, as James has already mentioned, the quizzes, they're weekly quizzes, but they do not affect your grade in any way, shape, or form. They are literally there as a learning tool to help you digest the information that is discussed from week to week. So whether or not you choose to take them or not, it's not going to affect your final grade. The only thing that affects your grade in this course is the final exam, which is available at the end of this course. The week-to-week quizzes, which will be clearly outlined on the ELC, they are just for practice. Week 4, the exam will clearly be outlined as the final exam, and we will go through some review topics ahead of the exam so you know what to expect.
Mhm.
James, you want to add anything here before I move to the next slide?
Yeah, just really quick. Again, week 1, trust the process. We're gonna have some some quiz questions, etc. And it's gonna feel like, what is he talking about, etc. And it's designed just to sort of get the creative juices going and see where you're coming from as you meet some of your participants in this cohort, as we get on this journey through demonstrating what DEI is. But yeah, like Carmen said, these are practice, and they're designed to walk you towards the final exam. So yeah, that's it.
All right, now we'll talk about what successful completion of the program looks like. Attend a minimum of 3 of the 4 of the live Zoom class sessions, unless you've already made arrangements ahead of this session for travel with me. Participate in the group discussions. Complete weekly assignments applying inclusion score to a real company example, again, which equates to roughly 2 to 4 hours a week. Pass the open book final exam with a score of 70 or higher. And then, of course, receive the certification. I apologize for getting tongue-tied. And certificate in the ISO standard. And last, but definitely not least, take the survey at the end of the course and share your thoughts about your experience. This is just a teaser about what your certificate is going to look like once you complete the course. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about the ELC, otherwise known as e-learning commons, and your online learning management system for the University of Georgia. We're going to first talk about identifying your username. And again, by this time, you should have all received an email, automated email, not from me. So it could be in your spam if you have not physically seen it in your inbox. You should have an email, a do not reply at uga.view.usg.edu, sender. And it'll contain your ID and a hyperlink for resetting your password so that you can get into the portal.
Mhm.
A very important note here is that your ID is going to resemble your email address with one variance. Your username is going to be your email address minus the at symbol. So as you can see here in the example, instead of terryexeced@uga.edu, which is the standard email address at the University of Georgia, it's terryexec.uga.edu. So just make sure that when you visit the following screens that I'm going to show you to change your password, you're putting in your username correctly. That'll be the first challenge you'll come across is if you don't put that dot where it needs to be. Now, in terms of logging in and resetting your password, you'll hit that hyperlink that I was telling you about from your email, and it'll take you to a page with a box that looks similar to this. From here, you want to ignore the big red button. I know that's very difficult because your first instinct is going to be to, and I'm just going to go back, to click the button that says UGA My ID login, but do not click that button. The area you want to focus on is just below it. It'll require you to hit a drop-down arrow, which will expose a username and password area and a little section at the bottom for forgot your password. And you're going to want to hit the area at the bottom that says forgot your password. And the next screen that populates after that will allow you to reset your password. You'll have to put in your user ID that's in your email and then follow the steps to reset your password. Then you should be able to log in with no problem. I highly recommend that you save your password once you've logged in so that it just kind of automatically logs in whenever you go to the platform and you don't have to go digging for your username and your password. And this is a preview of what your e-learning homepage will look like once you get logged in successfully. It'll have a content browser with an area where you can select your syllabus to review it, select an area to meet all of your instructors, as well as view your course materials from week to week. Now, if you have any issues whatsoever logging in, please contact me directly. My contact information will be on the last slide of this presentation, and I'll be happy to set up a Zoom session with you so that we can troubleshoot it and walk through it together. In terms of your next steps, top of the board is going to be to set up your account in the ELC, then download your manual, watch the week 1 video and complete the week 1 quiz. And then, of course, attend the first live session on October 2nd, a week from today at noon. The manual quizzes and videos are all already accessible via the ELC. James mentioned earlier about connecting with your classmates. This QR code, if you have a QR reader on your cell phone, will link you directly to the LinkedIn page for certified ISO-30415 D&I professionals so that you can go on and start connecting with your new community of D&I certified professionals. And of course, this QR code will connect you directly to executive education on LinkedIn. In case you have any future executive education needs, this will be a platform for you to connect with us, or you're welcome to reach out to me directly. And I see we have a couple of questions in the chat. Let me just check that out. Thank you, James. And last but not least, this is just a page to bookmark for exec ed educational opportunities on our website. Now, I'm going to go on and take us to the end here where my contact information is located and take us to the the Q&A part of this session. Now, if you need me to scroll backwards into any of those QR codes so that you can snap a picture of them or use your QR reader to go to those pages, let me know. But at this time, the floor is open for you guys to ask, come off of mute and ask any questions you have about any of the information we covered.
Yeah, I would try to log into the ELC now if you haven't. It usually is an obstacle. I even run into that red button too. So even now, I have to remember. It's really how it's designed. It's you have to scroll down 2 inches. Anyway, any questions at all?
Yeah, I was able to log in earlier today, although I did everything wrong that you said to watch out for.
Yeah.
Where is the manual located? I saw the syllabus, but I'm not seeing where the manual is.
Yeah, and sometimes I think it takes a minute to just even navigate it. The way I cheat and go fast is I go up to content in your top toolbar, and then I go down to additional resources,
Got it.
and everything is in there. There's a subcategory that's highlighted on your left-hand toolbar. Maybe I should share for everyone, because I think, again, this is the important part, because I'm going to reference it a lot in the recorded, and even when we get into the live session next Wednesday, sometimes, but feel free to say, hey, slow down, you're crazy. I won't take offense to it. It's not a safe space. You can beat me up here. I won't return the favor, but do me. I'm going to share the screen though really quick to answer your question, just for everyone in case. Or Carmen, can you enable me? And what is it?
And
1227.
do we need to print that? It's 100 pages. Do we need to print it, or we just need to have it downloaded and available?
Yeah, I would whatever works best for you. So I would just download it. It's a PDF. The most important document in there, though, is under the ISO case study documents. The very first document is a spreadsheet. And that spreadsheet is going to be our static version of the inclusion score tool. It's going to be how we audit and measure maturity in the folk company of the next 10 documents under that spreadsheet. So let me share and go through the process one more time so everyone can see my screen. I've got a lot. My desktop is, again, busy and crazy. If I go back to the beginning, oh, this might look different. I've got a million of these old courses in here, so let me find where we are. I think we're in October. Anyway, it's all the same. So I've got old courses in there. So mine might look a little different than yours, but I go up here to the top where everyone can see my cursor. I go to content first. Then I'll go down. Again, this is weekly what we're slowly releasing. So if you want to know what am I doing this week, you just come here and click on these. But if you want to get to, I'm sorry, what's your name? That I just see like a B. Beth. So to get the Beth's question, everyone should come down here to additional resources. And it'll be either on the screen or still also in this toolbar. So I use a toolbar for everything. If I want the manual, I'm just clicking manual. It's a PDF available for download here, right? But the most important document is when we get to ISO case study documents, there are 11 docs in this file. You want to download all this stuff because this is stuff you might use in the real world as templates, right? So the first document, the spreadsheet, is what matters the most. We're going to use it even more than the manual. The manual is there as a reference material, but the way we're going to dissect and speed through the standard will be via this spreadsheet. Then these other documents are the case study documents. So when I reference documents in week 1, 2, and 3, they will be these PDFs that are under this spreadsheet. Carmen, I know we're only 1 minute left, but I just want to show everyone that spreadsheet will come out. You can download it. I usually use stuff in my browser. It'll look like this. So we've segmented the standard to death, and this will help us move through it faster than the manual. But yeah, so you want to access everything that way. I would log in and play around with the ELC within the next week as your schedule accommodates. Carmen?
Thank you.
Or anybody else have a? Yeah. Oh, I heard somebody say yes. I thought, no? Okay. I'm just looking at eyes and hands. Okay, nothing. All right. Carmen, yeah. I think you're on mute.
Carmen, you're muted.
Yep.
Sorry about that. If there are any more questions, this is not your last opportunity to ask them. So you're welcome to reach out to me directly, and I'll make sure your messages get to James. There's also an area in the ELC that's literally entitled "Got Questions," where you can post your questions there, and James is actively watching that portal to respond to any questions that are posted there. So if you do run across anything else, please reach out at any time, and we'll get you that information or get you connected to someone who does have that information. But other than that, I just would like to thank all of you guys for joining us today and taking time out of your schedules. and look forward to seeing you all